We all have both masculine and feminine energies inside of us. Oftentimes I realize when men become spiritual, we oftentimes become beta males as well. I'm going to talk about why that is, how to be both spiritual and masculine, and how to adopt a healthy masculinity. Let's get into it. What's up, what's up? Another day leveled up. It's your boy Salem, back with another one for you. Today, we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. We're going to be talking about how spirituality produces beta males and how to balance both feminine and masculine energies. Let's get into it. First, what we have to realize is that the energies of masculine and feminine are that of just energies. They also have different traits. With the divine masculine traits, it's one of leading and it's directional, it's planning, it's deep breathing, decisiveness, stillness, it craves freedom, and it always wants to win. With the divine feminine, it's more of a relaxed state. It's expressive, it's emotion, it craves love and security, it's real intuitive, there's movement, music, it wants to feel love. Realize where you fall in these spectrums. The divine masculine and the divine feminine could be polarized in a male or female, and a male could be polarized in the feminine and a female could be polarized in the masculine. If you're polarized in one of these areas, you could see where you may be lacking on the other side, and that's what you want to actually get filled and healed. I feel when men become awakened or they go through this spiritual type of awakening, they tend to start just going against society, hating money, hating control, hating power. And they just try to be just like so indecisive and cool, like going with the flow too much. Like they really don't have an opinion on anything. It's like the universe has got it, you know? The universe has got it all. And they're scared to create any type of tension. But with that said, don't take the alpha male mentality too far if you feel like you are in this beta male mindset. There's a middle way that's healthy. How you do one thing in life is how you do everything. I realized this in my life. I played it too safe growing up, but I also started to figure out why that was. I spent majority of my life being brought up under my mother's supervision. A lot of women were in my life, which is great, but I didn't realize growing up that I was lacking this masculinity, the divine masculine of just assertive, being decisive, going out and exploring the world, of craving freedom, not trying to play it safe too much. I realized growing up I wanted to please everybody. I had a lack of worthiness, I needed to feel validated, and I figured out where that stemmed from, and it was because I grew up with the lack of a father figure in my life. Boundaries were like non-existent. I said yes to everything that didn't really serve me any purpose. I was over-pleasing to past girlfriends. I would always try to do the most, to such a degree that I had a girl that actually broke up with me because she said she wasn't used to being treated so well. Mind-blowing, right? My jobs were always in hospitality. I was always waiting on people hand and foot, seeking validation that I could do it well, that I could be a good servant, even though if it compromised my well-being and I grew resentful to the situation. As men, what we have to realize is the more people-pleasing you are, the more that's a turnoff to the world and women. A woman doesn't want you to be the most pleasing guy, the yes man, the super nice guy. You need to have some type of edge to you. You need to have some masculine energy to you if you want to maintain that sexual polarity. Masculine and feminine energies are in everything. It's one of the Hermetic principles. There's laws of gender in every living thing, male and female. But with that said, recognize that there's nothing wrong with masculinity. There's nothing wrong with femininity. There's actually power in being vulnerable, but you have to know how to keep a balance. What I also realized in my life was because of the lack of masculine energy, I grew to adopt myself. I became more decisive. I became more assertive in my life. I became just to always seek freedom. I didn't want anyone tell me what to do. I hated having a boss. Like, that was probably the most irritating thing. Still to this day, I do not desire or enjoy having someone tell me what to do. With that said, it's crazy. I find it ironic that because of the lack of a father figure and masculinity and masculine energy in my life, I grew to adopt myself, that I am now polarizing that energy and giving advice to people who have father figures in their life. But I guess that's just the divine paradox. To realize if you're polarizing this feminine energy, you may not be taking a lot of risk. You may not be decisive. You're real emotionally driven and you use that to make decisions. You may hate confrontation and you run away from tension. Tension is not your friend. You would rather say nothing than actually create tension. The femininist wants to relax and go with the vision of the masculine energy. And this could be a great thing because the masculine and feminine energies are complementary to each other. I was talking to my girlfriend when we first started dating. I started to tell her about my 5-year plan, my vision, my goals. And the most beautiful words came out of her mouth. She said, "I'm ready whenever you are." I was like, shit. Okay. I can work with this. But keep in mind, the feminine energy will shit test you as well to see if you are actually who you say you are when you start to declare and have these visions of actions and things. And to the masculine, you don't gotta go about dictating where you wanna go, what you're gonna do to your feminine. This is not a dictatorship. That's just suggesting, actually just telling them, hey, let's do this tonight. Let's eat this. To the feminine out there, what's more attractive to you? A guy that says, hey, we're gonna go out to eat here tonight. We're gonna do this. Or, I don't know, what do you wanna do? I don't know. It's up to you. I don't wanna disappoint you. I don't wanna make you mad. Whatever you wanna do, it's cool. No girl wants that guy. That's a harmless fly that she would just fucking smash on the table if she could. They get repelled by the nice guy. You gotta realize the advantages of taking charge in your life and making decisions and not leaving it up to the feminine to make all these decisions for you. Because there's detriments that you will experience as well. I just recently got back from a trip from Moab. Great trip with some friends and my girl. But what I realized throughout the trip was that my girl was getting a lot more silent than usual. I felt like something was up, that something was agitating her. She was a little in her head about things that she just wouldn't tell me about. But it caused like a little rift, I felt like. The energy just wasn't smooth. And I asked why she was feeling this way. Why was something bugging her? What was it? And what she told me made so much sense. She told me that during the trip, she felt like she had so much responsibility. She was planning the trip, in charge of all the Airbnbs and the itinerary, deciding what we're gonna eat, what time we're gonna do this and that. She drove her car, we drove her car. Even though we switched off who drove, it was still her car that we took. So in her head, she could never just relax on the trip. She was always having to step into her masculine energy, and she was feeling drained and she wasn't feeling feminine. That the sexual polarity just was not where it should have been on the trip. And I took note of that. Next time we go on a trip, I'm gonna make sure that she's not one in charge of the planning. I'm gonna make sure myself and friends take more of the charge and make the decisions of the trip and not overwhelm us with duties and things we gotta do. Like, a trip should be one of relaxation and not having to do this at this time and this at this time. It's like, no one's gonna really enjoy themselves at the end of the day. Majority of people that are struggling with the sexual polarity in their relationship, majority of the time, I guarantee, the man or the masculine is not stepping into his masculine energy and making decisions and making his feminine counterpart step into her masculine frame. Realize where you are on the pole of the masculine or feminine side and move towards that direction. Seal up those holes, because your feminine or masculine counterparts will benefit. You may need to be more assertive in life. You may need to learn how to surrender to a lot of things in life. You just got to figure out where you're lacking. Look at that chart, look at that scale, figure out what it is you do and figure out what it is you don't. And if what you don't do is actually causing problems in your life, you should probably try to adopt some of those traits if they're more masculine or more feminine. You got to realize that the world is feminine in its nature. When you move and you have a vision and you're decisive, the world, which is feminine, will relax in your demonstration. This is in the book, The Way of the Superior Man. It clearly states this on chapters and chapters, and just how the masculine and feminine energy are great counterparts and how each benefit from each other. And the benefit of the masculine staying in his masculine frame, how he's so great and beneficial to his woman, to the world around him. It's a great book. I definitely recommend checking this out. If you have not heard of it, check it out ASAP. Deep down, the feminine wants the masculine to lead. It's not in the feminine nature to want to be the head of everything and be in charge of everything, to run the country, to be a lawyer. There's actually examples of that. Say when women lawyers get to a certain age, around 35, they're pretty much making the money that they need to make. They don't want to climb any higher. They desire just to have a family. A lot of female lawyers, they actually retire around that age because they either marry their counterpart who they're probably working with at that time as well, and they realize, like, what is the point of trying to always be in charge and make decisions? There's strength and power in being the one that's making the decisions outside of the workplace. A man's best asset is a feminine woman who could pour into him and he could pour into her, and she create better ideas, and he can actually be vulnerable to her and she feed him energy. And it's just a great dance that just goes back and forth. And they always say, like, a strong man, there's always a strong woman right behind him. And don't take that as a point of like women are behind men. Women are so powerful. That's why this world is feminine in its nature. They are portals to the divine. And back then in ancient times, like, men would bow to these women. There'd be a lot of women in power because these men knew the power of just having a woman in her divine feminine nature. It does so much for the community, the world. The worst thing that we could do is push women into adopting these masculine traits. There's actually a study that shows that women that are operating too far into the masculine energy oftentimes have problems and develop diseases in their feminine reproductive system. And it just shows that on a deep spiritual level, how important it is that men and females, masculine and feminine, stay polarized in those energies, because it helps everyone around them. It also helps them be mentally, spiritually, and physically healthier. As men, we're taught to be the nicest guy. We're told by society, Disney movies, our moms, our grandmas, to be the nicest guy. But the world will eat you up if you're the nicest guy. You gotta focus on filling up your own cup, creating boundaries. Do not give unless you can give without feeling depleted and resentful, forgiving, and being one of service. Women in the feminine energy do not want to be your main goal. They want you to be on your journey, on your mission, like a Superman going out to save the world. You think Superman and Lois Lane, their relationship, would maintain some sexual polarity if Superman decided just to stay home and watch Netflix? If he was like, no, Lois, it's okay. I know the city needs me, but let's just chill. Let's have a night in. She may think that that's what she wants at that time, but she would grow quickly to resent him. Like, this motherfucker chose not to save the city and the world to chill with me. Like, I love the dude, but come on now. If you're just that soft dude, it's like, you're not going to get what you want in life. I love what Jordan Peterson says. He says you have to treat yourself like a loaded weapon. You have to be at least capable of committing harm, that people respect you because they know you can commit the harm, but the fact that you don't, that is respectable. No girl and the world is gonna like the nicest guy. They're not gonna respect you if you cannot even be capable of any type of harm. It's okay to call the shots in your life. It's okay to make decisions in your life that are for the greater good, even though it may not be the best and most popular opinion. It's okay to be a masculine male. It's okay to be a feminine female. We need both. When it goes overboard, if you take it too polarized in one direction, that's when things get out of whack. Great ways to deal with insufficiencies and being too polarized in one direction of masculine or feminine energies is knowing how to do the shadow work, not feeling a sense of loneliness, because loneliness is only a desire to not be with yourself, always needing someone to validate you and you always seeking the validation. But I'm gonna get into that in the next video, which I'm really excited about. So stay tuned for that. And if you resonate with any of this, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I drop more content. And just know, as always, a belief may be comforting, but only the true experience can be liberating. Grant yourself permission to level up, and until next time, it's your boy Salem. I'm out.